Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Panic Knife here with theawfulgamer.com, and I finally beat Duke Nukem Forever, and I figured I would show you a little bit of footage of the end of the game and also give you my final thoughts. So, this game, it's much maligned, obviously, in the press. There's the stories about how, the PR people for the game thought that it was, it was too harsh, that people were criticizing the game, and it's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility that people just they just wanted to, for lack of a better term, crap on the parade of Gearbox and Take-Two, who made this game after 14 years or whatever it was of waiting after 3 Realms came through and just completely botched the project. But it's a hard game to review because, well, I guess it's not, but it's tough because there's actually long periods of time in the game where you'll run along and you'll be killing, the pig alien guys, and it's not that bad. You're enjoying yourself. Duke's got some pretty funny one-liners, and if you're just sitting back and relaxing and playing the game, it's not bad. You can sit there and enjoy yourself, and it's not terribly, complicated. You're just walking on basically on a rail and shooting the aliens, and it's fun. You get the Ripper and lay down some bullets on a guy, and dodge to the left, lay down some more bullets on a guy, walk through, find some stripper. It's fun, no big deal. And then you get these sections of the game which are unbelievably difficult. The most frustrating things you'll ever do, maybe anyway. But it harkens back to the days of Contra, where you'd play for 4 hours and then die, and then you had to start all over from the beginning. It's not necessarily that the save points are spread out too far, but there's this one, for example. I'll give you an example. There's this one section where you have to you find one of your guys that is the Earth Defense Force guys that's dying on a catwalk. So you got to jump down and grab wall bombs. It's towards the end of the game, and you have to, these Cyclord guys pop up out of nowhere, and you got to kill them. The problem is there's no cover because the level's designed pretty poorly. There's absolutely no cover, so you pretty much have to take the railgun and hit every shot, or you're gonna die. I mean, it's frustrating, especially because the controls they're stiff, and it's not very easy to center on a guy or try to get a shot off on him. And obviously I'm not the greatest shot of all time, but I can go, and actually last night when I was getting the majority of my Duke Nukem game in, I went from playing Call of Duty and actually had a pretty darn good night where I was shooting really consistently well. And I went to Duke, and I was like, oh my god, the controls are stiff on this game. And again, not expecting this game to be the smoothest game of all time. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be Call of Duty. It's not supposed to be running at 60 frames per second and, making you feel like, wow, this is just an amazing experience. It's supposed to be a fun game. The problem is, of course, that it's no fun when you have to, when you're fighting with the controls and trying to come up with an unbelievable combination of shots in order to just move on to the next section. This wasn't even a boss fight, what I was talking about. So you can imagine how frustrated you get when you die, 16 times in a row doing something that isn't really that hard. There's another section of the game that really brings up the second problem, which is the platforming parts. There's a section where you're running on like some gears, and you have to go between a gear, find the hole in the gear and step through it and keep walking through it. I swear to God, the controls are so wonky in this game that it took me maybe 2 hours just to beat this one section. It was the closest I came to just pulling the game out and breaking it in half, or camping outside my GameStop for when it would open up and returning it right away. The thing about it is, normally that section wouldn't be that difficult, but because of the control system, because it's so stiff, it's very difficult to stay on the damn gears and then move forward. And after you get off the gears, finally, which I actually beat completely due to luck, you have to then do a couple more jumps, and it's still, there's no save. So I actually beat it 2 or 3 times, but I didn't beat the second part, so I had to go back and do it again. Which, you know, that's my own damn fault. But it's the bottom line is it's not fun. And you know, there's those platforming sections where you have to come up with crazy jumps or something like that. And then the other problem is there's a long period of time where you're just driving. And I didn't buy this game to drive in my Halo Warthog. I bought it to walk around and kill aliens like I'm doing right now. You know, it's frustrating when you have to deal with little side things like that. And the driving parts, they weren't that hard. You know, you'd drive a section and then you'd have to go get gas for your I think it was called the Mighty Foot. So then you would jump out and kill a couple guys. But it never really seemed like there was a point to it. You know, it was just traveling a distance and trying to lengthen the game to a certain extent. So that, you know, I guess that was okay, the car part. But then you get to the last part, which was extremely annoying, which is it was the underwater part towards the end of the game. There's I think 2 or 3 levels where you're basically just traveling underwater in order to get through the Hoover Dam, and it's just annoying. You know, you have to continually find the air bubbles to get your breath back, and then move forward and find air bubbles and smash through alien people, you know, whatever. But it just removed a little bit of the fun from the game. My impression of the game is that it looks literally like it's a 15-year-old game. They released the game that 3D Realms is putting together, and you know that they just released it almost as is. So it's hard to really rate the game, because you have to understand what you're getting here. You're not getting, you know, one of these tentpole games that every year, you know, it's a masterpiece. It's not Gears of War, it's not BioShock, but you get charged $60 just the same for it. If this was an Xbox Live Arcade game, I probably would rate it a lot higher. It's not that unenjoyable. You know, there's sections of it, like I said, where I was walking along and having fun. But the sections that are tacked on to make it a $60 full-length game, they're just wretched. You know, like the platforming, the puzzles, they just weren't necessary. It's not like they were that difficult, but they were frustrating. So, you know, if this was, like I said, if this was an XBL arcade game, if this was something that you could get for $15, I probably would buy it and rate it, you know, maybe a 7 out of 10, something like that. But they add on multiplayer. They add on, you know, a bunch of aspects of the game you don't really need. So it really takes away from the enjoyment I had of the game. I would not mess with multiplayer. I might buy this, you know, or I wouldn't buy it. I would probably rent it on GameStop, or GameFly rather. And you know, if you have a long weekend where you just want to go through a game, I would do that way. I'd say my overall rating maybe 5.5 out of 10. That sounds about right. I didn't hate the game as much as my partner Eno Metzo did, but I didn't like it that much either. Anyway, with theawfulgamer.com, this is Panic Knife. Give you a chance to watch the ending of the game, and you guys have a great night.
What kind of shit ending is that? I ain't dead. I'm coming back for more.
Duke, now that the aliens are dead and you've saved the world once again, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna run for president. Hail to the king, baby.